we're still going to use the very same team that we have been using for the past 5 years also. So I don't think we'll manage again. We're still going to struggle.
All right, you're watching Amakosi for Live. I'm with two guests here, and you probably might get more later, but it's the preview of the new season coming up, the 2021 season. It's the DStv Premiership, and also starting on Sunday, the MTN 8. It's our first discussion of many. I've got Hunter in the house. You remember him from the last 2 seasons. He's been on Amakosi for Live, at the back end of last season, and he's been at the stadiums. And we've got Ivan Koza from Football Stalkers, the fellow football vlogger. He's here to give us a little more insight as well about what's been happening recently and what's coming up over the next few days for Kaizer Chiefs. I want to get straight into it. The first thing I want to talk about is obviously what's been bugging every Kaizer Chiefs fan over the last month, or actually last 6 months, whatever it is. We're still waiting for CAS. We're still waiting for FIFA. The appeal is ongoing. There's no feedback. And we keep getting the same replies on Twitter from Kaizer Chiefs. They keep saying, we're still waiting, we're still waiting, we're still waiting. How much longer are we going to wait? Can we afford to wait? And do we have enough time to sign new players? Hunter, if you want to start.
Sure. Mish, the wait is just too much for us now, because we really want to register players as soon as possible. And this whole waiting game for the Court of Arbitration for Sports, it's just really draining us all as well. I'm still in the dark as to what is going on. A lot of us are still in the dark as to what is taking the Court of Arbitration for Sports so long to just hear our appeal. It shouldn't take them there that long. I mean, other teams have actually heard their cases, and they've got their verdicts as well, and they were well and truly able to sign and register players. Whereas here we're in a position where we can be able to get players to train with us, but we can't even register them in the local league, which is just absolute nonsense. Really, the wait is just too much for us, because the first thing that we as fans are dying to actually read, especially on the internet, is that where the Chiefs have won the appeal or not, because we've already gone past that stage of who's going to be our coach. We've already gone past that stage of what our jerseys look like. Now, the only stage now is whether we are going to be able to register players or not. And this thing is really frustrating us. It's frustrating me personally. It's frustrating a lot of us as well, because there is no time now. We are only going to, we only have up until early November to actually start signing players. And if we're going to wait this long, then I'm afraid then we're going to have to play with our current crop, which shouldn't be the case at all. So it's really frustrating on our side.
I'll get back to you also. I just want to hear what Ivan also has to say.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. Because there's a whole lot of activity going on in the transfer window. Sundowns is busy, Pirates is busy, and the situation is you had a team that's being sold that had quality players, the very same coach that's with Kaizer Chiefs, where you can say that it would be easier for him to rope in players that he worked with, but because of this CAS appeal, you have players who've went to Pirates, you have players who've went to Sundowns, you've got players who went overseas in India. So it then you now look at the situation and be like, then what would be left? You have another situation in Highlands Park, now TS Galaxy, where you also had certain players that left, and you guys didn't have the opportunity to at least take a couple of players.
Exactly.
You've got Polokwane City that's relegated. You know, typically when teams get relegated, you tend to look, okay, who's quality here that we can take? You can't do that still. You know, you've got Black Leopards that's losing certain players, and still you can't capitalize on that. So, I mean, we hear about plenty training. Nobody's saying nothing about Monare. But I think the biggest question would be, Mish, is let's say if you're Monare and there's no word with Chiefs with regards to the appeal, and you're playing thinking, well, I mean, not just only getting paid, but I want to play. And I don't see anything happening here. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a big gamble for players to stick with Chiefs without knowing the outcome. It's probably going to be either passion for the club, you somehow love the club, you're like, you know what, this is worth it, I'll wait it out. Or you just take a chance and say, listen, I think the outcome would be positive. I don't know. It's almost as if Gavin Hunt, while other people are busy, his now hands are being tied, you know? And I guess another question I would say is, what would Chiefs feel like because we've seen it, Vets, when Gavin Hunt doesn't get the players that probably he wanted, or maybe the backing that he would have liked, he can tend to go into a situation of saying, listen, you know, I'm working with a small budget. I've got players of not the same quality as so and so and so. And then the question is, how would Chiefs supporters feel if that situation is like that, where Gavin is like, look, I know Chiefs supporters want more, but given my situation, I don't have enough qualities. That's something that's going to be taken in a positive way, or I don't know. But this CAS thing is really, it's a horn in, what do they say in English? It's a nail in a horn, or horn in a what that
yeah, something like that. Thanks for joining us, Gibbs. I was speaking to the guys now about the CAS and FIFA appeal, you know. I wanted to know from them how they're feeling about the CAS FIFA appeal. You know, it's taking so long. We don't know why it's taking so long. Will we be disadvantaged when the season begins? Obviously, is it looking good for Chiefs? You know, what's the news? You know, we're seeing a lot of rumors that Chiefs actually do know what the outcome is. Are we going to be ready for the season? Oh, when the appeal comes through, is it going to be too late for us?
From what I can say is that we our supporters and the whole media, we don't know what's behind the delay with the outcome from FIFA, but we do believe that they know something from the village. So for now, we can just keep on waiting. But in the meantime, the signings are not there, because we're still gonna use the very same team that we have been using for the past 5 years also. So I don't think we'll manage again. We're still gonna struggle, because without new signings, where are we going? Which philosopher I use?
The thing is now, like Ivan just said earlier, and Hunter also. I just wanted to ask all of you actually. The thing is, do we have a good enough side to use? Because we're playing Sunday, but I think by Sunday we're not going to sign any new players by Sunday. So we're going to have to use what we have, and we're going to use probably some of the MDC players. I'll ask Hunter first. Let me speak to Hunter first. What do you think? Is our side good enough for Sunday's game? We already have a side that's good enough for Sunday? Or do you think Gavin Hunt's going to bring in some fresh legs from the MDC side?
Look, Gavin Hunt made himself 110% clear that if he's going to want to bring the club back to where it belongs, he's going to need some fresh new players as well. And given the current situation that we have, it's going to be really, really difficult for us to compete on Sunday. But I'm just hoping that he has a really good plan for Sunday. Maybe he can be able to add some of the guys from the MDC with a lot of speed, with a lot of hunger as well, because he really works with hungry players. He works with hard workers as well. We cannot afford to be playing with guys who just do not want to fight for the badge anymore. I mean, we are playing against Maritzburg United of all sides.
You're watching Amakosi for Live. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Amakosi for Live, and give us a like on Facebook.